Works. Hi, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so glad you are here. This is my first time streaming this. If you guys can try to join the Blooket, and we're gonna play the Blooket for a couple minutes to give more people time to come in. The Blooket is on transition words on the SAT, and then we're gonna go through the orientation tonight. So I'm hoping that the link works. I've never shared links before on Twitch, so this is exciting. And go ahead and let's see if you guys can get in. And then if not, let me know. Ethan is in! Okay, the link works. That's fantastic news. Yep. Oh, people don't know how to sign in. Let me just send one more note. Give me 1 second. Do. Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much. I'm glad you guys are here. Let me send this note out. Okay, perfect. Yay! All right, we're going to get started as more people come in. So this is just a 4 or 5 minute play. And this is Gold Quest. I hope you've played it before. And we're all about the data, not the overall ranking. Okay, so I had to send that out. And while you guys play, I'm going to respond to some folks real quick. Okay. And I'm gonna get in because I love playing. Look, it's like one of my favorite games that we play all the time at school with my kids. Gold is already being taken. Y'all watch out, I play hard. Strive for accuracy, not point total. Accuracy, not point total. And I'm going to check something real quick because I want to make sure you guys can hear the audio. That's interesting. Can I get a yes or no? Can you hear the audio right now? I just want to make sure my settings are right for the Blooket. Awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Oh, it's soft. I'll let it play. Hey guys, for those who are just here comes the Look It for you to join. If you haven't joined yet, you're welcome to get in. We're going to play for 3 more minutes, and these are all transitions words relating to the ELA. I got one wrong. See, I was thinking sense. Man. I lost 25%. Ethan, you make me want to come after you, but I won't. Reese, I'm going to put you in the game. Oh, I knew that one. All right, 1 minute, 20 seconds. Ooh, another swapper. Crystal, I'll put you back up even though I didn't have a lot. $30 seconds. I'm just randomly clicking. All right, let's take a look at our data. So, congratulations for doing so well, but we really don't pay attention as much to that. So we do a lot with what you're going to learn about today, growth mindset. Especially when we play games like Gold Rush and Gold Quest, you can take people's gold at the last possible second. So we really look at this data right here. And then what happens is we go down and we look at our incorrect. And then from there, we take out the most important information. So just so you know how I operate, I will always try to start our streams 1 or 2 minutes early, and probably almost always have a Look It. If it's an ELA session, it'll be a Look It relating almost always to writing and language. If it's a math session, it may or may not deal with math. If I feel like we need to sneak in some more writing, I'm going to sneak in some more writing. I didn't want to have separate writing sessions because it doesn't need it as much as the reading portion. The other thing is you can always chat me. Okay, so what makes this different, and we're going to go through this in the orientation coming up, is I want to answer your questions. Now, I guarantee you I won't know all the answers. Like, I know it. So if I say I don't know it, it's the truth, I don't know it. And you can always shoot me an email and I can look it up for the next session. All right, let's take a look at this. Through a process of chemical bonding, snowflakes form hexagonal shapes. The triangular snowflake, confounded scientists. So let's take a look at this. Through chemical bondings, we usually think of snowflakes as hexagons. Because we think of hexagons, because this mentions triangle, that's why the answer is however. Because a triangle is obviously different than a hexagon, so that's why it was however. Now, It could also contradict scientists with the additionally, but because triangles and hexagons are different shape, that's why they picked like an opposite. Reforestation, I honestly got this one wrong when I first did it. Reforestation, while undeniably valuable, can result in forests with limited biodiversity. So right now we know that forests are not going to have a whole lot of plants. That's the short version of that sentence. The next sentence is, care should be taken to plant a wide variety of native flora in depleted woods. So the first sentence says, basically, we're not going to have a lot of biodiversity and we need to plant more native flora. So because of that, those two fragments are agreeing with each other. So that's why we would pick accordingly as opposed to leaving however. And I don't remember what the other answer choices are. So because there's going to be limited biodiversity, we need to plant more species. So that's where that comes in. Lloyd is one of the laziest students in the establishment of Vernon Academy within London's borders. Blank. He aspires to be head of parliament. So this is another contradiction. First, Lloyd is lazy. So first whole sentence, blah, 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 blah. What's the main point before the semicolon? Lloyd is lazy. What comes after the semicolon? He wants to be in parliament. So is Lloyd being lazy and him wanting to be in parliament, are they the same type of theme? No. Lazy, bad. Parliament, good. They're opposites. So because they're opposites, that's when we would pick something like a nevertheless or a however. And same thing down here with these other ones that we missed. Contrast can be a nevertheless. Despite can be a nevertheless. So those also can kind of fit in there if you change them slightly. All right, I want us to respect time, so we're going to go through this stuff. First, I want to direct you to our homepage, which is satwithdoc.com. Right now, I honestly created it for free, so that's why it's got all the extra stuff on top. So thank you so much for coming. We have a packed agenda. Our sessions will last anywhere from an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. Usually, we will end up doing 2 sessions. So an ELA session and a math session, or math and ELA every day. I have people joining us from literally all over the world. So, and some of them are just learning about this program and some are going to learn about it tomorrow. So this whole week is orientation. I'll show you that within a second. And then next Monday, we'll start off with ELA at 6 o'clock. So at the top, this button will always take you right to the live stream right there. So just SAT with Doc, you can click the live stream. Also in Twitch, you can always type in SAT with Doc up here, and that will also bring you to the live stream. Okay, next, make sure that you've signed up for the Remind. I hate technology. Okay, I have a master's degree and a doctorate in technology, and honestly, I hate it. No worries, I'm glad you're here. So I will not always respond to you right away. I try to respond to you right away if it's right around a session, just to make sure there's not confusion, like people were asking how to sign in. I will get back to you, but there are times I don't know where my phone is and I have to ask Google to find my phone. It's just fact. Next is subscribing on YouTube. I'm not trying to make millions of dollars or anything like that, but after I stream a session, I'm going to throw it up here. So if you ever miss a session or late, you can come here. We're going to have 2 ELA and 2 math sessions a week, so I'm not going to throw both up. I'll throw up whichever one is my favorite of that, but that's where that is. Next, please follow me on Twitch. I know most of you probably have. If you haven't, please do so. Also, get as many people as you can to do it. I need 50 people to follow me on Twitch, and the reason is I want to be an affiliate, because if I'm an affiliate, I can ask you polls during class. So when we go and start doing like the reading section or the writing section, I can put up a poll that says, what did you get on question 13? And I can have A, B, C, D, and then you can answer it. And right now I can do it in another way. It's just more bothersome. So that's pretty much it. Once I get 50 people, probably once I get 60 people, I'll stop asking in case some people unfollow me. But that's the motivation, is I need to get 500 minutes, which I absolutely will do. I need to stream a certain number of days, which I'll hit that. But the 50 followers, that's the reason, is I want to be able to make this as interactive as possible for you. Next is Khan Academy. You're going to hear me talk about a lot about Khan Academy today. If you are not part of Khan Academy, you need to join, and preferably join with me. I'm not going to take you necessarily through all that I see, but you would click join with SAT with Doc, and you would type in your names. The most important thing, oh, we have 27 already. That's awesome. The reason why this is important is on my side, I can get what skills. I don't want to pull up people's information. I'm going to take that off. Anyway, I can pull up which skills we suck at. And so once we get to the end of the sessions, and you'll see coming up, that last week, I'm going to blitzkrieg the most important things that we weren't doing the best on Khan. So when you join, that helps me to know how to help you more. This link is to Google Drive. Everything I teach you is always going to be a presentation, and I'll always put it up in Google Drive. Part of the reason why I did that for you is because if you have a Google Drive account, you can download it already, but you can click it and you can make a copy of it. And it's not going to give me an option because I'm not signed into Google Drive. But if you make a copy of it and store it on your own devices, what that'll end up helping you do is you'll be able to write on it, type on it, highlight it. I thought about creating a Google Classroom, but there could be hundreds of kids joining, and I don't want to manage that. So every time we do sessions, I'll always put it in that Google Drive account, which you'll always be able to access at SATwithdoc.com. Our SAT prep schedule, if for those of you from Cobb Online Learning Academy and Cobb Horizon who joined me in the beginning, this schedule has changed several times. The main reason for the changes is we are having people join us literally from around the world, and I need to make sure that there's enough time to get them through the orientation so that we can actually start teaching. The good news is that there's still plenty of time. I will still make sure that we can cover everything. And here's an example. The map down here represents where people are signing in from around the world. And so I just think that's cool. Okay, so this week we have orientations today at 6 and 8, tomorrow at 6 and 8, Thursday at 6 and 8, and then next week Sunday at 6 p.m. And that gives flexibility for people around the country to come and join. On Saturday, I'm running a practice test at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. And that is very important if you have never taken an SAT before, because, and we'll talk about this when we get to Khan is freaking way smarter than me, and I apologize if freaking is a swear word. The engineers and the algorithms that they created will create a program that will absolutely raise your grade if you take the practice test through, if you either link your College Board account, which we'll talk about, and if you have practice tests available. And what's so great is I'm going to give you hierarchy overall things that help kids be successful. And we're going to, in our math sessions, I have this whole program. We'll talk about systems of equations. We'll talk about data. We'll talk about algebra. We'll talk about all those things. In ELA, we'll talk about author's point of view. We'll talk about perspective. We'll talk about breaking down graphs. But some of that you'll be like, Doc, I know that already. That's why Khan is so important, because Khan, and I'm going to give you strategies to incorporate it in your life, Khan will give you exactly what you need to know. And frankly, Khan is going to suck a lot because they're giving you exactly what you know. The Khan questions and videos you're going to get are going to be hard. But for the next 6 weeks or 12 weeks, if you're going to take it in May, I really ask that you do your best to push through. Okay, that's how you register for the SAT. The deadline is next week. And then on the 10th, if you're taking it on March 11th. If you're taking it in May, the deadline is further out. You can take it in March or May, it doesn't matter to me. And then that is an email account that you can reach me at satwithdoc@gmail.com. Here's an Instagram. It's like not a whole lot. I'm also an author. These are links to my author account. And I do have this patron account. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, because someone said to me, Doc, just have one. So it's there, but I'm not monitoring it. I'm not collecting money. It just is there. Okay? I mean, I'm not paying attention to who contributes. I don't want to talk about that anymore because that's not why I'm doing this. Okay, next, my expectations for our sessions is while you are with me, that you do your absolute very best to focus as much as you can. Now, I have a student who probably is going to be joining at work on break. Obviously, that's different. But if you have the ability to give your best focus, it's not going to impact me, it's going to impact you. And it could make it can be 1 or 2 more questions on your test that you weren't planning. Make sure you sign up for Khan and strive for at least 4 hours a week. Make sure you take a practice test on Khan with no distractions. And this is the most important thing about the practice test, whether you take it with me on Saturday or on your own time in sections. When you take the practice test, it instructs the algorithms with what you know. So if you guess and just ABCD it to get it done, the algorithms will think you will know information when you really don't. And so that's why it's extremely essential that you make sure that you take it as seriously as you can. Because the more that you can instruct the Khan algorithms, the more effective the time you spend on Khan will be. All right. Also, be nice. Keep the chat PG. I did my best to prevent people from not being nice. Have fun. Ask questions. Believe in yourself. Down here, these are the different reminds. If you are a South Gwinnett student, go Comets. Please sign up with SGHS SAT. If you are a Cobb County student, Cobb Online Learning Academy, Cobb Horizon, and I guess they're blasting this out this week to all Cobb County juniors. Cobb SAT would be the remind to follow. Everybody else, do those. The main reason why I have them separated is there might be something specific to South or specific to Cobb, and that's there. Okay, let's go back to the presentation. I'm going to pull this up instead. Okay, so we've talked about that. Other things to know is I have the Twitch account that we're on already. We have the YouTube account. I just started a TikTok. I got kind of excited. A couple of my videos have over 500 views in 2 days. And I'm like, what? Anyway, so the TikTok is not to give tips and tricks. It's purely to advertise this. But it exists if you're interested. Okay, our agenda is the Blooket, which we've already done. What you need to bring every session, which is notebook, paper, pencil, and a Gmail account. An overview of our program. What this program is and is not. Why you're here. We're talking about growth mindset and goal setting. I made that one a little off. Let me move my picture real quick. Come on, picture. There it is. And then understand the SAT, the Khan Advantage, setting up your plan for success, next steps, and extra help. We should be done around 7:05. All right, so Blooket, for those of you who were able to make it right on time, we will start every class with a Blooket. The reason why we do that is a couple things. If you've had me as a teacher, has anyone had me as a teacher? Because part of the reason why I'm doing it this way is because some of you were my students when you were freshmen. So if you had me as a teacher, I'd be curious. But I talk about people learning styles being one of 4 objects: a paperclip, a teddy bear, a slinky, and a magnifying glass. And a person who's a paperclip wants to know, tell me exactly what I have to study. A person that's a teddy bear wants to work together. A person who's a magnifying glass prefers to work by themselves. And a slinky learner kind of is just super creative. So by us doing Blookets, a couple things happen. First, for the creative minds, it helps you. Second, not everyone's going to sign on right at the start of the time. So that's the other reason why we do, is to give a cushion for people to come while still learning. Third, it's going to help us with the writing content especially. And then fourth, it just helps with interaction. Next. Okay, what you need every session is to be your best self. Do everything you can to not have distractions. Turn off the television. Put your phone on airplane mode, ideally, silent or over if not. Make sure you bring a notebook, paper and pencil, a calculator, which can be your cell phone. That would be the time to use it. And again, that Gmail account, because remember that Gmail account will link you to all of these presentations that you'll be able to make a copy of into your account so that you can write, draw, underline, etc. on. Which leads me to this slide. So why a Google Gmail account? Our community includes people from around the globe. I thought about doing stuff in Microsoft Office. I know a lot of schools use that, but Google is free for everyone. And so that's why I chose to do it in Google. I thought about doing it in Google Classroom, but I didn't honestly feel like managing it. So that's why everything will go in the Drive. Most of the work will be presented in Google Slides. And then, like as I've already shared, you can copy the material digitally. You can go to a library and print it for free. You can print it at home if you have one. But that is the main thing. All right, next. Okay, so let's go do an overview of our SAT prep program. So first, a little background. I am a teacher in Atlanta, Georgia. When I moved to Atlanta, I worked at an amazing school called South Gwinnett High School. And I had like the best students. They were such hard workers. Well, what ended up happening is in 2019, 2020, they came to me over Christmas break and they were like, Doc, can you help me prepare for the SAT? And they had already been doing amazing in geometry, and had passed the state test like at super high levels. And I said, if you can get about 20 kids together, I will do it, because I knew I'd be doing it for free. And it's a crap load of work to help kids prepare for the SAT. Nonetheless, we ended up having over 300 students participate, and we had close to 100 signed up to take the SAT, interestingly enough, in March 2020, right after COVID hit and closed schools. Altogether, we've had hundreds of kids go through the program. Over 200 kids have taken the SAT, and our average score that we raised the scores were about 74 points. I've had kids raise the scores 150 to 200 points. So that's that. Now, here's the thing. I am not promising you're going to raise your score. I can't do that, and I'm going to go over that in another slide. The main reason why people raise their score is I give you hints and tips that we look at together collectively, that I make it interesting and fun, that I answer your questions, because Khan on its own can't answer your questions. But Khan Academy is really the genius, because of the amount of money that Bill and Melinda Gates and Warren Buffett and all these people have poured into it. The algorithms that they have created give you such a prescribed program, and I give you processes for that to help you, and so it's not boring and you can tap out and not do Khan 2 hours a day. But anyway, so our program is a combination of me teaching live and streaming like this on Twitch, and I'm doing it like this so that way my kids at my former school, South Gwinnett, and my current school, Cobb Online Learning Academy, as well as kids from around the world. Like I mentioned, we have kids from Singapore, from England, from Saudi Arabia, from Texas, participating, so that we can all come in and I don't have to worry about sending you Zoom links or monitoring anything like that. So we have those live sessions plus the Khan is what we have together. You should come to at least one ELA and math session a week. If you come on Monday and something I did was confusing and you are available to come Tuesday, come Tuesday. But whatever I teach on Monday will be the same on Tuesday. So each week will be exactly the same for that week. And then the next week will be something different, and the next week something different. Your goal is at least 25 hours on Khan. The more time, hello new friends, the more time you put on Khan, the higher your grade's going to go. And that does not include practice tests. And you need to have at least one practice test in, especially if you haven't taken the SAT before. So the essentialness of our program is for the March 11th test, and then we'll take a little bit of a break and study for the May 6th for those who are doing that, is I'm combining the live streams, which I'm doing the best to monitor chat. I have to figure out how to have it make a sound when you come in. If you know how to do that, someone can tell me, that would be great, because I don't know how to do that yet. But nonetheless, you can connect with me. If there's a question you don't understand, you can send it to me in reminder email. I won't necessarily reply to you right away, but I'll make sure that it gets addressed in an upcoming meeting. And that's something that you can't do on Khan or anywhere else. All right, so what is this program and what is it not? This program is completely free. Like I told you before, I'm not tracking who pays money. I'm not going to send you a bill later. I'm not saying come this one time and then every other time you have to pay. I am doing this for free. I'm doing this for free because I've always done it for free. Do I have the Patreon account just in case? Yes, because like I said, someone said people pay to watch Fortnite, they can pay to do SAT prep, but I'm not tracking it. It exists, period. Other places, like I went into Saudi Arabia because I'm like, why are people in Saudi Arabia interested in this? Do you know in Saudi Arabia, it cost $1,000 for 5 sessions of SAT prep? $1,000. Yeah, that's not us. You come, you put the work in, the streams are free, YouTube is free, etc. Next, this program is targeted to you. So instead of some rah person telling you, come in here and sit in this quiet classroom and this is how you have to do it, I'm doing the best I can to give you all the skills and strategies that you need so that you can design a plan just for you. Because listen, some of you work at Zaxby's. I have a kid who works at Zaxby's 6 hours after school till 11 o'clock every night. I have a kid who is a parent and has a child. You know, your life is uniquely you. I have kids who have to leave class sometimes to take care of their parent. So what this program does is it tries to be flexible enough to help you figure out how to put SAT prep into your life without it being stressful. Other programs, they're set at a certain day. You have to go at a certain time. There's not flexibility. Next, this program is focused on helping you believe in yourself. That's kind of like my core value. I think, Michael Jordan's core value appeared to be basketball. Like his love of the game of basketball, its unity and how it brought people together. Like that was it. Tom Brady is a perfect example. His core value seems to be football, and not to get political, but it's almost like his marriage went because he said he quit and then he didn't quit. My core value is helping you believe in yourself. And that's why I do this. Other things are like they focus so much on the content. We will absolutely cover content. We are going to be spending hours covering content, but we will always cover content and helping you be your best as opposed to just loving the content. Here we're growth focused. If you don't do as well as you want to do the first time, life will continue to go on. I know it's hard to say that. You can tell your parents I told you that, but that is the truth. You can always take it again if you have to. Yes, it's a little bit more money, but you can. Other programs are score focused and they say this is how you score 1,500 on the SAT. You can still, I've had kids score 1,400s and higher on the SAT going through this program, but it's up to how much you're willing to put in. This program is designed to be a supportive plan to help you be your best. I will be as accessible as I can be within reason, like I'm not going to respond to you at 1 a.m. While other programs promise to raise scores, you will be able to raise your scores. I've had kids raise their scores 200 points, but it's all a matter of how much you find the time and choose to put in. So in the chat, if you can just real quick put in why are you here, like 1 or 2 words. Why are you here? I wanted to do a word bubble. And so as you type in the chat, I'm gonna type what you put here and then we'll go. So a couple words in the chat and then we'll see the word bubble. And I have my other word bubble from before too. Okay. I know I have a delay in the chat. Here's some of the word bubbles from my previous session that someone did. They decided to participate in SAT prep to go to their dream schools. The Zell Miller, I love that. That's perfect. Attaining a good score, getting into dual enrollment, getting into a good college. For football, they wanted it because they needed a certain grade to go to the football that they wanted to on a scholarship. To take it for free in Gwinnett County, at South Gwinnett, you can get it to the SAT for free if you participate, just to get more practice, to pass, to get into Emory University. Oh my gosh, I have a girl who's going to Emory now, and she went through the SAT program twice and she got this score. Let me see if I'm pretty sure she was going to Emory. She had so many options. Oh my gosh, this girl, I shouldn't call her out, but I'm like so proud of her. Let me see. So she ended up, her SAT, before she came to SAT prep, her SAT scores were in the 1100. She came to SAT prep, I think, through 2 sessions, and she got her scores into 1300s. And then in May of this past year, she ended up getting into Emory, Georgia Tech, Northeastern, UGA, Georgia State, Mercer, Augusta, Spelman, Case Western, and LSU, and ultimately she decided to go to Emory to push yourself and see if I really want to go to college. I love that too. Yeah, this woman, she worked so hard. I was so proud of her. And she embraced this program. Like, she found the time to do SAT prep, and she did it. And so it works if you want to work it. This program will work if you want to work it. Okay, so let's talk about the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. I'm a little bit obsessed with fixed mindset and growth mindset. If you go onto my author page, I have 9 books about this topic, and I teach teachers about this topic. So basically, real quick, a fixed mindset are people like, I've always got 900 on the SAT, I won't ever get better, or I've always got an 1100, I won't get better. You are like, this Khan Academy is so hard, I don't feel like doing it, so I'm not going to do it. Or I've always been this smart, I'm not going to get any smarter, period. Or someone else gets higher than you, so you feel very frustrated at yourself. Or you don't want to bother trying because Dr. Erig is boring. So that's fixed mindset. Growth mindset, the colorful side on the other piece, is you view challenges as opportunities. So we're going to be like, okay, this next 6 weeks could kind of suck. I'm definitely asking you to commit 40 hours of your life to this process, if not more, 20 hours with me and 20 hours on Khan. You embrace your weaknesses. That's why we look at the Blooket to see like what we got or what we didn't get. You learn to give and receive constructive criticism. I guarantee you I'm going to screw up and make mistakes. So if I say something wrong or I give the wrong answer and you disagree, throw it in the chat because I probably made a mistake. Especially now that I'm teaching multiple sessions at night after a full day, like guaranteed I'm going to make a mistake. Again, we look at learning over approval. So you're not taking the SAT to make your mom happy. You're taking the SAT because you're proud of yourself and you want to become your best. Also, failure is an opportunity to grow. So if you don't like the score you get, you just work harder and try again. And so that's why we focus a lot on growth mindset. So that's what this leads to, the importance of goal setting, ultimate versus mini. If you've already made a copy of this, great. If you haven't, just kind of take a picture with your phone and sketch it out would be great. What I want you to do is at this top section right here is where you would type or handwrite. So if you copied it, you could type it, handwrite, or even sketch it on paper, like when you've previously taken the SAT. So we'll track our practice tests on this, and you would write your reading and writing. On the bottom is where I would want you to set, okay, what's your ultimate goal? Like for Destiny, who I just spoke about, she wanted to get 1,300 or higher so she could get into the classes that she wanted to. I have other kids going to Gwinnett Tech. I mean, lots of different ones. So that's what we're going to talk about for ultimate goal. And before you pick it, we're going to talk about colleges, except I realized I put it out of order, so hold a little bit on the goal. All right, next section is understanding the SAT. So if you don't know, and hello new friends, my name is Dr. Eric, welcome, I'm so glad you're here. Basically, you're going to take the reading section, then you get a little bit of a breather break, then you take the writing section and the no calculator math section, and then you take the calculator math section, and then you're done. And so there's 52 reading questions. There's 44 written language questions. And again, those are the ones we're going to review predominantly through Blooket. There's 58 math questions. Those are separated from no calculator and calculator. So you have a total of 154 questions that you're trying to get done in 180 minutes with some breathable breaks. So a lot of kids kind of get like really stressed out and they're like, I want to get a 1,600, which I would love everyone to get a 1,600. Of course I would, but I want to explain how the SAT works. The SAT is not a curved test, but it is on a bell curve. So what that means is usually in a bell curve, I need to switch hands. Usually in a bell curve, the middle would be 1,000. Now I'm going to show you on the next page that right now it seems that the mean score is right about 1060 right now. Then what the SAT does, so everyone takes the test and they take everybody's scores and they put it into this algorithm so that about 68% of all of the students will fit in one standard deviation from the mean, which is about anywhere from around 900 to, they put 1,200. I don't completely agree, but we'll leave it like that. This is not like perfect because every test is different. Every time they give the test is different. Then the next group will be between about 700 and 900 or 1,200 and 1,500. And this represents about, give or take, 16% on each side. And then the top 1% would score over 1,500 or under 700. So basically for breathing oxygen, you get at least 600. But our goal is to get you at least above the mean. And I would say with a target of anywhere from 1050, especially if you've been scoring under 1,000, and ideally pushing you to the 1150. And I think on the Zell Miller, is it 1210 that you need on the Zell Miller? But our goal is to get you up that high. Here is something I pulled from the National Center of Education Statistics, and I thought it was super interesting, especially down here. So this is 2017, 2019, 2020, and 2021. And remember, 2020 and 2021 will probably have less percentages taking the SAT because not every college required it anymore. So we can see in the United States that the mean score has been hanging out right around 1060 with a few noticeable exceptions. Like it went down in 2020, which remember is when COVID hit, but it has circled back up to 1060. The other thing to notice is pay attention to how the states compare. If we look at Georgia, where probably most of you are, our average in Georgia is 1086. So if you get higher than 1086 and you live in the state of Georgia, you're doing better than half the people in Georgia. If you get lower, you're doing worse. But look at this. If you lived in the state of Iowa, Kansas, and Louisiana, do you see that? Their average scores are 1200. 1200. So honestly, they probably take more of the ACT versus the SAT, but just think how you kind of compare. And the reason I'm showing you this data is for you to think a little bit more clearly on where you want to go to school. So this website, I'm going to put it in, hold on, I thought it was clickable. Here comes the link in the chat if you're interested. I love 1200. Thank you for clarifying that. So this is like one of my favorite sites to play around with. And it's kind of like, what college do you want to go to? So if you already know the name of your college, you can type it in right here. Let's say you already know that you want to go to Ohio State. I don't know why I picked Ohio State. Man, there's a whole lot of Ohio States. We'll pick Columbus campus. So once you click that, it'll tell you what the average SAT score is. And what this score typically represents is the middle 50%. So if we go back to that bell curve, we're talking about the people who fit in this 68 block right here. So 50% of the people score between those two scores. And then 25% score less than 1250 and 25% score more than 1460. All right, if you know that someone had said they wanted to go to Emory. So if we look up Emory University, we can see the scores are 1360 to 1530. And so when you're setting your goal in terms of your ultimate goal, that's what you're looking at. But for real, if you live in the state of Georgia, as someone has already said, the Zell Miller Scholarship should be your first goal above everything. Because frankly, and I never believed this until this happened to me, but ultimately, eventually, people don't pay as much attention to what school you went to. Thank you very much. There it is. Once you get a job. Once after your first job, you know, that doesn't always differentiate you. They look at, do you have experience? Can you get along with other people and you're not a not nice person? So the name of the school doesn't always make a difference. I would say the exceptions would be if you're going into an MBA program, if you're going into a medical program, but if you're going to agree like marketing, which is very important, computer tech, very important, it wouldn't matter as much. So the Zell Miller Scholarship is a 3.7 Hope GPA. Hope GPA in the state of Georgia is math, ELA, science, social studies, foreign language are part of that. Your rigor credits, an ACT score of 26, an SAT score of 12.0. And then that provides most of your college tuition in the state of Georgia. If you are looking for the Hope Scholarship, I don't think Hope had an SAT component, but let's just double check. Nope, Hope doesn't. It just wants a 3.0 calculated GPA. All right, so I want to give you a minute or two to look up your colleges, but I also want to respect time, so I'm going to push through, but just kind of take some time and look if you're interested. The link is in the Google slideshow that you can kind of look at. And so just comparatively speaking, Georgia Tech has 1300 to 1510 versus UGA, which is 1240 to 1420. And I just picked Georgia because I know right now most of my people are Georgia based. Kennesaw State only has 1050 to 1230. And while Yale in New Haven, Connecticut is 1460 to 1570. Okay. All right, so let's talk about the Khan Advantage. I'm going to play this. Hopefully you can hear it. It's 2 minutes. This is Sal Khan, who came up with Khan Academy.
Hi, I'm Sal Khan, founder of the not-for-profit Khan Academy. I have some very exciting news. The data is in from our first year of the partnership between us and the College Board around Khan Academy being the official practice for the SAT. And what we're seeing is students who spend an average of 20 hours of practice on Khan Academy are seeing roughly 115 point gain between the PSAT and the SAT. And to put that into perspective, that's roughly twice the point gain that students typically see between the PSAT and the SAT. And what's especially heartening is that we're seeing that gain be consistent across gender, race, and socioeconomic groups. And so this makes us feel really good, not just from the Khan Academy's point of view or the College Board's point of view, but just in the overall theme of being able to help level the playing field. Students take the PSAT, they can sync those accounts with the Khan Academy. Khan Academy software then has the information necessary to essentially do weak point training. Know where you need practice, not just in math, but in reading and writing as well, and you get that practice so that you can put your best foot forward, not just on the SAT, but to be optimally prepared for college and for life. So this is exciting news. It's also just the beginning, and we hope to work with all of you, students, parents, teachers, to further level the playing field for college and life access.
All right. So from the horse's mouth, so to speak, if you know that idiom, that was Sal Khan about the importance of SAT and the partnership. And I think that's one of the big takeaways is when we think about Princeton Review has sessions, there's books that you can buy. There's all these things that you can do, but none of those things are personalized to you. And I'm going to personalize it some based on what I've seen from other students. But if we can get 5 to 10 minutes here or there, if you can download Khan Academy to your cell phone, and I have some girls, I'm not going to call them out just in case they're on, who they tell me they take 45 minutes to an hour to put on their makeup and do their hair in the morning. Like, God bless them, but that's not me. Maybe you could stream a Khan video while you're doing your hair and straightening it, or putting your eyelashes on. I have guys who confess to spending 3 to 4 hours playing Fortnite or Assassin's Creed. Maybe you can spend 1 hour doing it, or maybe you can do the Pomodoro technique I'm going to teach you in a second. So it's finding where can you sneak in 5 or 10 minutes at a time. Ideally, if you can do more than that, great. But if you can just do these little sneak-ins, that's the best way that I've had kids be able to get the time in and be successful. So let's take a look at what I call the Khan Advantage. Make sure you've created a Khan account. Link to my Khan Classroom if you can. There's no pressure. It would just help me so that last week I can make sure that I teach our targeted topics. Link to Khan Academy to College Board, especially if you've taken the PSAT before or you've taken the SAT before. Please take a practice test in test taking settings. And that means you can come at 9 o'clock or 11 o'clock. I'm going to be streaming on Saturday, or you can take it on your own time and take one section at a time. Strive for a minimum of 4 hours a week, ideally more. And then what I call find the hidden time. When can you sneak time in? Now, I don't know if anyone has ever heard of the comedian Jerry Seinfeld. I feel like there's been a resurgence of Seinfeld on Netflix. But he was once asked by someone who wanted to be a better comedian. This is a true story. He was asked, how do I become a better comedian? And what Seinfeld says he did when he was just starting out is he got a big calendar. And on the calendar, he committed to himself that every day he would write one new joke. And then when he wrote the new joke for that day, just one joke, he would get a red X on the calendar. And then the next day came and Jerry Seinfeld wrote another joke and he got another red X. And then another joke and another red X. And eventually when you get enough, in this case, red X's, I might not use red X's, but when you get enough in a row, you don't want to miss that. Like the same thing with people who want to try to get healthy. I'm guilty of this too. I'll start working out and then something will happen. Like I lost my watch. And then as a result, I stopped working out because I could no longer track my workouts. And then I found my watch and guess what? I started working out again. But had I had this visual reminder of work out every day, Michelle, I probably would have been more susceptible to keep on going. And so that's what the big red X is about. So here on in the PowerPoint on the page, if you want to print it out, is our calendar. And so I want you to think about, maybe your goal is not doing Khan Academy every day. Maybe your goal is doing an hour a day. Maybe your goal is doing 15 minutes every day. Maybe your goal, it doesn't have to be every day, but ultimately you want to do about 4 hours a week. So I want you to think to yourself, as I've already shared, when can you find 5 minutes? Is it when a family member is preparing dinner? Can that be the time that you just don't do anything else but try to get a couple questions in? There are some kids, South Gwinnett starts school, I think the buses let off, at 6:50 in the morning? Like, come on. If some of you guys get on the bus and you're on the bus for 30 minutes a day, what if instead of sleeping on the bus, you had Khan Academy on your phone and you'd answered a couple questions then? What if you tell your friends, I love you friends, but for the next 5 weeks, I'm going to do Khan for part of lunch? Or what if you say to your friends, you know what, let's all take the SAT together and work on Khan during lunch? Is Khan going to be hard? Yes. I guarantee you Khan is going to be hard. Is it going to be annoying? Yes. And if it's not hard, you probably didn't sync the algorithm correctly, because Khan will always try to challenge you. I'm not asking for you to spend the rest of your life having difficulty. I'm asking you to love yourself enough that for the next 6 weeks if you're taking it in March, or the next 8 weeks if you're or probably 12 to 14 weeks if you're taking it in May, that you just make it happen. Because if you just give your best for this next window of time, I doubt you're going to say, you know what, I gave my best and I could have given more. Because if you gave your best, you couldn't have given more. But if you only did a half blah, blah, blah job and you get your results, you don't ever want to doubt, what if I had just found a little bit more time? The other thing I want to point out while this is on here is in Cobb County, we're off the week of February 19th. So I don't want to have to worry about streaming. So that's why we're not streaming that week. So if you're used to coming at 6 and 8 o'clock, that could be time that you can get extra hours in. Okay, here comes my favorite technique. Okay, so as I've shared with you, I guess I haven't. So I have a bachelor's in math and special education. I have a master's in curriculum and technology. I have a doctorate in leadership and technology. I am certified through Assistant Superintendent of Schools. And I went back to school to get my MBA, which I've already earned. I earned it last year, or in 2021. One of the strategies that I personally use and I share with my students is something called the Pomodoro technique. Now, real talk, that's why I'm moving my glasses off. I am sure that there have been times in your life when you were doing homework and might have also looked at your cell phone. Or you need to do a particular class, like I need to clean my room, as a particular task. But if you really, really tried, it probably would only have taken you 15 minutes to clean your bedroom. I don't know how some of your bedrooms are. But because you got distracted by other things, that 15-minute thing took a lot longer. What this Pomodoro technique is about, and this is when you have more than 30 minutes to study, is instead of thinking, okay, I have a 2-hour window to study, I don't want you to think that, man, I have to study for 2 hours, I can't take any breaks, this sucks. No. I want you to chunk it. Now, the original Pomodoro technique is 25 minutes, but I tell kids to start at 15. Sit down and set your timer on your phone for 15 minutes. And then for those 15 minutes, the only thing you're going to care about is Khan Academy. When the timer goes off, set your timer again for 5 or 10 minutes. This says 5, but I tell kids to build up. And in those 5 or 10 minutes, you can do anything you want. But when that timer goes off, you go back to Khan Academy for another 15 or 20 minutes. And then you take another break. And what happens is when kids and adults, me particularly, when I know that a break is coming in 15 or 20 minutes, I am more apt or more likely to give hard work during those 15 or 20 minutes when I know a break is going to be coming. But if I feel like I have to do all of this work in the next 2 hours, like mentally, I'm already shot before I start. So this technique might help you, or it might not help you. I'm just saying. Okay. So, closing up, here are our next steps. Please join Remind. Okay? That Remind is a way that we can have two-way communication, but again, no, I won't always reply to you right away. Next, to subscribe to YouTube, mostly so that if you miss a session, you can easily locate it. Please follow me on Twitch and shout out. You guys, we are up to 7 more people just in this session, so thank you. Again, the main reason why I need you to follow me on Twitch and I'm not promoting YouTube as much is because if I can get 50 followers on Twitch, so if you know anyone who's willing to follow us, just so we get the affiliate thing, but it will allow me to launch polls during our session. And those polls are going to be very critical for us to do the best work we can. So I'm really trying this week to hit that 50 followers, because then it takes another week and then I will be able to do polls. Join Khan Academy for sure. Obviously, I don't need to reiterate that. Okay, so our next sessions are orientation is this week. You've come tonight. You don't have to come again. The SAT practice test is Saturday at 9 and 11. If you've already taken the SAT recently, or if you've taken a practice test already, you don't need to come. Again, I'm not taking attendance. I'm not tracking things. It's just this is best practice. Our ELA and math will start next week, and the writing is embedded in our ELA. All right, hold on. Don't leave. All right, so what I want to do is here is a quick form. I ask for your name. You're welcome to put your first name. You don't have to put your last name. I'm not collecting your email address. But this form is just going to help me come up with the best program to help all of us. And if you already are in Cobb, you know that the whole reason why our schedule changed is because people who filled out the form on Remind a week ago said that they wanted 6 o'clock sessions instead of 8 o'clock sessions. So that's what it is. It should not collect your email address. I would love to know your name. It can just be your first name. It can be your whole name. It's up to you. Your grade, what state you live in if you live in the United States, or country if you live overseas. When you're taking the SAT, because that'll help me kind of like pace things out. If you've taken the SAT before, and if you have, what did you score? None of these are required. You can skip any question you want. What is your goal for this upcoming SAT? What strategies will you use to integrate with Khan? And that's mostly because you might have strategies that I didn't think about and they could help other people. Down here is just join Remind if you haven't already. Yes, not yet. Don't plan to, which is fine. You can put don't plan to for anything. I won't be upset. Do you plan on coming weekly to One Math and ELA? Are you planning on coming this Saturday, just so I can pace things out in my mind? 9, 11, no, or maybe. And anything else you want me to know. And I will stay on as long as you need me to stay on. And if you have any questions, just ask. And that is our session for tonight. So let me pull up the calendar one more time. So as a reminder, with you coming tonight, the next time you would come would be Saturday if you need to take the practice test, but you can always take the practice test on your own. And then otherwise, we'll start the ELA and math next week. All right, I'm going to stay quiet so you guys can focus, and you're always dismissed whenever you want to be. But that's all I have for tonight, and I'm going to redo the same session at 8 o'clock. And thank you for coming. You're welcome. Thank you. Research, the question on the table is, how accurate do I think PSAT scores are for SAT scores? I would say not as accurate, simply because you probably didn't learn much geometry. You definitely didn't learn Algebra 2 when you took it. So I don't want you to think just because you had good PSAT scores, you'll have good SAT scores, or vice versa. If you had bad, you'll have bad now. Simply because maybe you weren't good at math and now you understand math better, or maybe you were having a bad day when you took the test. So there's so many variables. research says most kids score about 70 points higher from the PSAT to the SAT versus 120 points when they put in Khan. But really the best indicator would be if you take the practice test. That's really the best indicator for like what you know right now. And if you can't take the practice test, let me see if I have a fake account I can sign in with right now. Nope. If you don't have the time to take the practice test, what you can do is, hold on. You would click no, you haven't taken it, or yes, I have, because it'll ask you to link it. I don't really want to do those questions yet, but then at the top, it'll say SAT practice. Here we go. Let's go. And so, I guess it won't let me do it. So up here, where it says practice, these things right here that say diagnostics, so there's a diagnostics for math, there's a diagnostics for reading and writing, and then there's the essay. If you really, really, truly don't have time to take the entire SAT, these 8 quizzes will also help tell you exactly where you are. Okay, I know that was a very long answer for one question, but I would say, because our brains grow and change, because life happens, because COVID happened and instruction became inconsistent, I wouldn't hold the PSAT scores as tightly as I might have in the past, if that makes sense. Nope, you don't have to come again until, if the practice test on Saturday, if you're available, otherwise next week at 6 o'clock. All of the other sessions for the rest of this week that say orientation are all duplicates of the same session, because different kids are coming at different times. So nope, you're good to go. But next week we would do ELA at 6 o'clock and math at 8 o'clock, or you can come to 6 o'clock ELA on Monday and 6 o'clock math on Tuesday. But we'll always have a break in between. We'll have like a 45-minute break between the 6 and 8 o'clock session. You're welcome. Anyone else have questions? I'll stay on until we get down to like 2 or 3 viewers, just in case people do. All right, wonderful. Thank you for coming. I think I'm going to take you. Put you in here. All right, one more. Does anyone have any questions? Otherwise, I'm going to stop streaming and then reset for 8 o'clock. And thank you guys for coming. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, guys, I'm going to end the stream right now. Thank you so much for participating, and I'll be streaming again at 8 o'clock if you didn't catch the beginning. Goodbye, guys.